Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. It's me, just another sim guy here. Hope you're having a great week so far. I just wanted to update everyone on my progress of recovery. So after my week 2 disaster in iRacing, if you haven't seen that video, do check it out. Tanked my sports car rating quite badly, so this week was all about recovery. Getting back into the formula a little bit, but mainly focusing on sports car, bit of GT3. Did some other sports cars as well, but really wanted to focus on the road back to where my iRating was a few weeks ago, as it was starting to push its way, nudging its way towards 1700. Really looking forward to getting to 2000. So this week there's going to be some fantastic highlights from my races. I changed my approach a little bit, so I'm going to share what I've done to pull myself out of it, and it really changed everything for me in terms of my results. So I've got some great highlights to show from Formula, sports car. We did some GT3, we drove the Kias, and there was a fantastic Honda Civic race around Bathurst, which I have to share. The racing around there was so respectful, so clean, bumper to bumper stuff, up and down the mountain. Oh my days, it was fantastic. So do look forward to that. And then stick around towards the end, we'll cover my licenses and what we've gained and what we're looking to focus on for the next week. Tracks and cars and stuff like that, so we've got a bit of a plan. So without further ado, let's get on with the video. Now if you've been paying attention to the video going on in the background, you'll see this is the Formula 1600s at Sebring, which was actually my last race of the last night of week 2, and this is what really kicked off things, ending in a positive note for me moving into week 3. Just come around this final bend, like I've spent the last 2 laps just working really hard, chasing him down and nailing my apexes. Got him right at the finish line, so that was good for 6th place. Really good finish for me. That gave me some great enthusiasm moving into the following week. But basically, there's simply way too many good highlights from way too many races for me to have the time to edit it all down and show you everything. But the Civic race I did around Bathurst was crazy, and there was some bumper to bumper stuff, so I'm going to put some highlights of that here in the background. You'll also see some Formula racing. The Formula 1600s were at Okayama. Only had a chance to do one race, but it was a really good one. And then the GT3s were at Brands Hatch in the European sort of branch of it, so managed to get around there. Now the week didn't start off very well. I started off at Sonoma in the Advanced Mazdas and made a bit of a hash of that, and it ended up finishing in 12th. Wasn't my greatest performance, not very comfortable on that track, and I was in a pretty high split, so struggle there. License took a little bit of a bump in that one, but the rest of the week was reasonably positive. So in the Kia, for example, I was 6th in my class at Spa. Now that was a hell of a result, and there was some bumper to bumper stuff around there as well. I mean, there was some great action in that one, and obviously you've got to keep your eye out for those Cadillacs coming around. The GT3 at Brands Hatch, there's some highlights of that as well. 4th place finish for me. That was great. 20-minute race, qualified in 7th, managed to get myself up into 4th with some really good consistent laps, constantly beating my personal best all the way around. So was really proud of my performance in that one. But please do keep your eye out on the channel and make sure you sub to get notified. I'm going to make separate videos on all of these really good races and just let people watch them in their entirety without me talking over them. Some of them are going to be from the VR perspective, some will be from the replay footage, but all of them really warrant their own video where you can really take in the race from start to finish and get an idea of the sort of flow and the ups and the downs and the really close racing. I mean, they're all short races, quarter of an hour, 20 minutes, but they're all going to be like fantastic to watch all the way through. So moving on to my licenses. So a couple of weeks ago, my sports car license was up to 1659, which is the highest it's ever been. I was quite proud of that. And like I say, week 2 took a bit of a hit. The lowest point it was at was 1420. So, you know, we were down a good 230 points in the matter of a week, which is a bit of a pain, really. But week 3, road to recovery, a couple of good finishes, gained 62 iRating in my 4th place finish in the GT3, for example, and I gained some more and lost a little bit at Sonoma, but the tail end of the outcome was that I'm now at 1551 as we go into week 4. So that's not a bad place to start from. nearly back up where we were. My aim for the rest of this week is going to be to try and get up towards 1700 again, with some good consistent racing. Now in the formulas, I only did one formula race and I finished just in the top of the, just outside of the top of the bottom half. Did that make any sense at all? I finished just above halfway in the field. That's probably a better way of putting it. So I only gained 4 iRating, a whopping 4 iRating. Anyway, what that meant for me was I went from 1866 to 1870. So whilst it didn't drop, it barely moved up. But again, this week I'm looking forward to putting some time in. I think that the Formula 1600s are at Bathurst this week. Really do like that track. So hopefully that gets populated with some decent splits, and I can have a go at that. But I really changed my approach this week again, and what I wanted to do was niche down a little bit. I didn't have as much time to race as I was hoping I would, but I did stay consistent with what I was doing, and I didn't chop and change around too much. I didn't do any oval, I didn't do any dirt. I barely made any time for formulas. I only did that one race at the end of the week. So really I focused my time on couple of GT3 races, jumped in the Kias and wanted to get into the TCRs. Practiced possibly a little bit more than I had done, but not a great deal. I do need to do some more practice. I got a new PC this week that dominated a lot of my time, getting things set up, getting things reconfigured, getting things ready to stream. So I didn't have a lot of time between the races I recorded and the races that I took part in to do much practice. But this week I'm hoping to. Everything's settled down a little bit for me now. The new computer's almost sorted and tweaked. There's always something to play with, but I think we're almost there. So that's really good. I think that I'm going to be able to focus, and I'm going to be able to do a bit more practice and do a couple of attempts at some of these races, and perhaps only take part in 2 or 3. I really like the TCRs. I really like the Kia, but I'm going to give that a skip this week. I'm going to skip the Advanced Mazda, but I'm going to do the Formula 1600 at Bathurst a few times. And I think the GT3s, no, the TCRs are at Road Atlanta, which I'm looking forward to. So yeah, I think there's a couple of opportunities here for me to sort of focus on a few different championships and not dilute my practice and not dilute my stuff around a bit too much. But my approach, yeah, like I said, I was going to tell you what I changed with my approach. Not only was it to niche down a little bit and focus and not chop and change quite as much, but I was also a bit more aggressive. You'll see from the highlights. Elbows out, not giving up too many positions, not being too concerned with the odd bit of an off track. You know, there was almost like tactical off tracks around Spa where you cut the corner but you keep your speed up. You don't cut the corner but you get the off track without it being a corner cut. So you're not, you know, you might not get the safety rating that you're aiming for, or it might not get any gains, but you haven't lost any time. So not being overly concerned with my safety rating was something I wanted to do a long time ago. And whilst I am still safe and I am still cautious, I'm not over cautious. I'm not letting people past even if they look like they're quicker. I'm not letting them immediately past. I'll fight for a lap or two. And if I look like I'm, you know, if it seems as though I'm holding them up and it might cause an accident by staying behind them, then maybe, yeah, I will let them go at a convenient time, but I'm not letting them go straight away. And you can see by the race going on here in the background, you know, I want to get my nose in there. I want to let people think about what I'm going to do. Am I going to sort of, you know, am I going to cut the corner? Am I going to sort of stay behind them? You know, am I going to make a push? They don't know that I'm not, you know, I'm not going to make a move. So you've got to give them something to think about and not be too much of a pushover. And that's really what changed it for me. Was it got me a lot more fun. It got me in there. It got me, you know, involved. And ultimately, I think that helped with my spots and my finishing places. There were some great bits of overtaking on a couple of these races where I stayed behind, I stayed close enough to be competitive. It felt like I gave them something to think about, keep them guessing, keep them looking in their mirror, you know, keep them looking in their mirror at what I'm doing, because that's going to ultimately allow me to possibly force them into a mistake, but at least it's going to slow them down because they're not going to be able to be too focused on what's going on ahead of them. And that worked to my advantage. You know, I had some really, really close racing as a result of it, and I really enjoyed it. So I'm really looking forward to week 4. There's some good races coming up. There'll be some community streams happening, some community races with our Discord group. So get involved, get in there if you want to join in. keep your eyes out for the streams as well. The streams are always a blast, great fun, nice select group of people that are always regular, turning up, having a chat, encouraging me, giving me advice. You'll see the streams are changing in appearance slightly. We're taking advantage of some overlays now, so I'm learning a bit more about that. And with my new computer, my new RTX 5090 and a 9950X 3D CPU, you know, I'm looking forward to the quality of the streams and the quality of the outputs being absolutely sublime nowadays. So hopefully you'll enjoy that. So keep your eye on the channel, and if you want to learn more about the new computer, then pop me a message. But thank you for sticking with me. I hope you've enjoyed this week's update. I have been just another sim guy. Make sure you sub, leave some comments. I take pride in responding to every single comment, and I will see you on track if I don't see you before the next video. Take care. Peace.